So how do you approach working with The Undertaker? Respected veteran, and you are an androgynous character.
Well, Undertaker's different than most of the talent in the locker room. He is the ultimate leader. If something goes wrong, he reprimands you. You know, he controls shit. He makes sure everything is worked smoothly backstage, and nobody has any heat with anybody, and he calms it down. You know, he's like the judge and the executioner. And you know, they come with this idea that I'm going to work with Undertaker, and we're going to end it in a casket match. So, and I never had a problem talking with Taker. We always got along well, and you know, he listened to all my ideas, and I spit them out, and we went out and did them. And the thing about Undertaker and myself, in those days, you know, that is different than today. Like the kids today have to call their spots, spot by spot by spot by spot by spot, man. And it's like, and then they memorize each one of those things. Sometimes the crowd's not going to react to the thing that you memorize, so you have to know how to improvise and change it on a dime and get the people to where you need them to be. And that's how me and Taker were. We just kind of, I gave him a couple ideas, and we built a match around it. We had a finish. But before that match, the week before at Raw, Bruce Pritchard came to me, and him and Undertaker are very, very close friends. He said, I want you to, I want to play a rib on Taker, he said. I'm like, oh, no, Jesus, come on, man. This is Monday Night Raw here we're shooting, right? So the rib was during a commercial break, because we went 2 segments. So I get him down, you know, and we're both down, like a double down situation. And we go to commercial. So I've got about 3 minutes to do this rib. So I come up and I start, no, sorry, I was not. We were not in a double down. I was still up, but Undertaker was laying flat before he would sit up, that type of stuff. So I crawled down between his legs when we went to break. And now I've crawled around and kind of touched Undertaker's chest and his head and stuff like that, but I started crawling up his legs, and it's very sick. I mean, just crawling up his legs and just getting closer, teasing kind of feeling, right? And then I look up at the audience and I just give the big old tongue thing, just the and I grab my hand like this and I put it right on his dick. And I'm just rubbing right there, and I'm making these faces all sexual-like, and I'm like, what the am I doing? Bruce is going to kill me. Undertaker's going to kill me if I don't do it, you know? And it's just like, what am I doing? Undertaker's going to kill me after this. And then right after that, we come back up on from commercial, and I'm sitting right next to him like this. As soon as I did that, we came back up. And then Undertaker sits up, and I'm looking over here, right? And I'm rubbing myself, and I turn around and we both look at each other like this, and I get scared and I run out, and that's the end of the segment, basically. And I run back and I hide. And Taker's hot. He's mad. I mean, mad. You don't want to make Undertaker mad. And he comes back and he's looking for me. God damn it, he's cussing, he's throwing. And Bruce had to calm him down and say, that was me, you know, I told Dustin to do that. That was a rib. So he finally come down, and then he laughed about it, and then I poked my face out and knew everything was okay. And we went up and shook hands and hugged and all that. So
I just love the idea that people didn't know and they're just backstage, and you just grab Undertaker and then run backstage, and he's like, where the is he? It's exactly how it did. I just don't know where you go from there. So you're doing all this. You're doing this Goldust character, and it's really. Oh, I was going to also ask you this. You also had a very brief working relationship with the Ultimate Warrior during that time.
It was very brief, yes.
What were your memories of working with him? Because he'd come back, and he was this big character, kind of like you were talking about earlier, stars who come back and they have a big name and that kind of stuff. And his run didn't last too long. But what was your memory of working with him? Because you were the first and only real program that he had when he was back.
Well, like again, I say, like the kids, they don't understand it today with, you know, the old timers coming back for a big moment and things like that. They get pissed off. Me, I knew my job. I knew what I needed to do. And I had always, back in the day of Dad's Polka Dots, you know, been close with Ultimate Warrior. I mean, we weren't best friends or anything like that, but we always talked and were cordial to each other, and he was very nice to me always, and he was very nice in this situation. And I was nervous, you know, about working with the Ultimate Warrior because, I mean, he's the Ultimate Warrior. He was in all these WrestleManias. I mean, it was awesome to actually get that opportunity to step in the ring with him. But it wasn't your general match. I mean, it was like a segment type thing, you know. And I'm sitting in a deal, and we were practicing the cigar burn on my hand and stuff like that, and then him clotheslining me out of my director's chair, which was very cool. So it was nice to be a part of that experience.
One of the big parts of Goldust, which you mentioned, is the Marina character that Terry played. How important do you think that character was to being with Goldust? Because I mean, we saw, you know, she was involved in some of the tongue stuff too, in the video that we saw at the beginning. So she was very heavily involved. How did you feel about working together? Because you guys were married at the time, you guys are very close. And how important was she to the Goldust character?
Very, very important. You know, like I said, the first 6-7 months, I was kind of lost, and we were trying to figure out. And Terry and I started talking about maybe bringing her in, and I approached Vince and pitched it to Vince, and Vince liked it. And because I think the Goldust character, the movie star character, needed a sidekick, valet, manager, Marina. So she was given a lot of names, and she came up with the Marina name. And Vince loved it, and from that point on, I mean, it was just really cool. The entrances were cool. She looked beautiful, and every once in a while, she would pull some gold glitter out of her glove and blow it in the guy's eyes, which I really loved, and I wish we could have utilized that more. But I think it's important to have managers. I definitely think it's important, because you can get so much heat if you're a heel by using a manager, even today.
And the Goldust character then goes babyface, and you guys are kind of finding your feet with that. You have the feud with Triple H in China, but you were one of the guys in the Canadian Stampede match in Calgary with the Hart Foundation against the Americans. So you're a babyface in the company, but you guys are going to Canada like every couple of weeks, and you guys are booed out the building. What was that like for you? Kind of thinking, well, I'm not thinking on the fly. You guys knew what the reaction was going to be, but kind of playing almost two characters depending on what crowd you're in front of.
Well, we knew what it was going to be like, but we didn't know what it was going to be like. We didn't know it was going to be that crazy like it was. Yeah, we know we're going to have to basically be the heels in this match. But the match itself was unbelievable, man. Everybody was clicking on all cylinders, man, that the chemistry was there. And it was one of the, if not, it's probably in the top 3 of loudest crowds I've ever heard in my life, man. They were just so into the Hart Foundation and that whole deal, man. It was incredible. There's nothing we could have done to them. They would have booed everything. Even Steve Austin, you know. They were booing everything and cheering everything that they did, which is really cool. So if you're a babyface and you're working in that situation, you got to know how to switch it. You have to know how to be the heel and get some heat, because that's the way it's going in this match. And you don't know till you get out there. And some towns they like the heels, but this particular crowd, there's nothing that the Hart Foundation could have done wrong. Nothing.
And this subject has been tackled about 10 million times, but we've not heard your opinion on it. The Montreal thing happens, and you're there while it goes on. Do you remember kind of where you were when it happened, what your reaction was? Because it must have been quite a weird time when it all kind of went down.
It was a weird time, but you know, I was watching along with everybody else in the back, and we were watching the monitors and watching it play out. And to me, it just looked like it looked real. So I'm not really sure if it's real or if it's fake or what, you know. And then all the goes down, I'm like, and everybody's running around getting anything, so it had to have been real. So I'm like, oh, this is serious. And then they go lock themselves in their dressing room in the back, and the stuff is going down. I'm hanging around, but you know, I try to keep my nose out of other people's business, but it was people didn't like that screwing over Bret Hart, man, in Canada. They hated it. They hated Shawn Michaels for that. They hated Vince McMahon for that. They hated the referee for that.
And around that time, you're changing your character again, because you're now going to be the artist formerly known as Goldust.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
Well, Goldust ran its course, okay? I couldn't understand, but I was going out there doing the things that were working, getting the heat, and the people were just eating it up and loving every bit of it and hating me at the same time. So I know I'm doing my job well. But Vince just takes it from me. He says, man, you got to pull back. You have to stop doing all that stuff now. And I'm like, I couldn't understand that because I'm still young. And, you know, I wasn't thinking the big picture wise in the company and the direction that it was heading. And I was just like, no, I'm not. I didn't say that to him, but I was like thinking to myself, I'm not doing this. I mean, this works for me. I'm going to keep doing it. And I got a little big for my britches, and I went out there and I kept doing it. And then one day at TV, I did it again, and Vince grabbed me by the lapel of my shirt and pulled me down the stairs and in front of everybody and God, and he's screaming and cussing me and said, you ever do that again, I will fire you on the spot. And I'm just like, okay, I won't do it anymore. But I couldn't understand why, you know, and he wouldn't give me an answer why. And I can't read your mind. So I stopped, and then Goldust's character just kind of went like this, you know, it had no momentum. It was taken all out from me, and I don't know why. Politics, something, you know, whatever, the company's direction, the gay and lesbian rights activists were maybe coming down hard on the company at that point, which they were. Moms were writing in letters saying they're never letting their kids watch it again, but Vince kept doing it, kept pushing it and pushing it, and it was working, and we were drawing a lot of money with it. But he took it away from me, so now I'm stuck. And like me and my hungry heart and head, I'm thinking to myself, well, what can I do to get this character a new lease on life here, or another run, or something big again, you know? So I started thinking and throwing around this other option of this crazy S&M type dominatrix type Goldust, you know, just this weirdo. I'm already a weirdo, but it's a different weirdo than this weirdo. So then I started buying all these props with these ball gags and these metal tits and all kind of stupid shit, man. And then I had the collar on and the chain, and Luna, God bless her heart, man, and she's screaming at me, slapping me in the head, and we're walking to the ring and I'm crawling and stuff like that. And it was just very sexual and weird and freaky, you know? So I was just trying to take it up a next level without doing the gay stuff. So I was trying to do it this way now, and we had our little run with it. It wasn't as good, but I'm still proud of it because, you know, because I grew from that too, you know. We keep transitioning and growing the character, and that's what time does for you in the business. Being 30 years, you learn how to change it on a dime and change it into something else to keep growing it.
So two questions about that. Obviously, you get Luna, and you're a baby. You're Sable. You're Dusty. You read Green Eggs and Ham at one point.
My dad got mad at the Dusty one, man. He hated that. He hated it.
Now, were you guys at the time you did the Dusty one? Were you talking?
No, we still weren't talking at that point.
And did you hear that he was pissed about that?
Yes.
Did you think he would be when you did it?
And you know, I had feelings about not doing it because I knew it was going to make him upset, and it just brought up bad memories and things like that. And you know, they kept pushing me, man, it's going to be great, it's going to be fine, don't worry, he's not going to be mad. And went out there and did it and had some fun with it, but still, it was like, yeah, he was pissed.
What is your favorite memory from being the artist formerly known as Goldust?
There's so many. I think maybe one of the ones where I was in a wheelchair and Luna was coming down as the nurse, you know, when we introduced Luna, and I'm cutting this promo like I'm an invalid and I can't move anything but my lips here, you know, and just being stupid and goofy and weird, man. It was so cool. It was fun. It was fun to perform those things and have fun with it. I like the Marilyn Manson dust. Just because I was a big Marilyn Manson fan, and I liked, you know, his face was so kind of palish white, so I tried to mimic that with a black wig in his outfit. I like stuff like that. I'm very creative, and I'm an artist. So the Sable Dust one, which was, Jesus Christ, man, the Sable Dust. They told me to go to the Fredericks of Hollywood to get some she-male gear. So I got some goddamn she-male in high heels, in size 14, and I'm like, how do women walk in that shit? And I got to go down this ramp, and I'm twisting and doing this, and I'm in a panties and a bra set, and it's just crazy, this big-ass wig, and what am I doing with my life right now? Why am I walking down half naked with high heels on, these me pumps, and I'm just like, what the But it was all fun. I look back at every one of those things now, and like some of that video that you showed before brought back some memories, you know, and it was a good feels. I'm very proud of my career.